welcome to the vlog. Happy Christmas. I won't say Happy New Year just yet because it's day after Boxing Day. Not when I shot this video, it is actually Christmas Eve for me. But this is going to go out on Sunday, which will be the day after Boxing Day. So happy Christmas. I hope you're nice and fat and full of festive goodness. Which is perfect for watching my videos because you'll probably just want to sit on the sofa now and just mong out. So happy days for YouTubers. That's not how I wanted this video to start. Welcome to the woods. It's... Hello! Hi mate, alright? Sorry about that. Just met a really nice bloke, Nathan Hollingsworth. I'll link his Instagram page down in the description below. Just bumped into him just by chance. Yeah, so it's nice to meet new people, especially when it's a surprise right out of the blue. Yeah, so yeah, Nathan Hollingsworth, go and check him out on Instagram. He's a really good woodland photographer, and he shoots the same sort of woodlands that I shoot because he lives just around the corner from me. So yeah, that was nice. Nice chat. Any chat about photography is it's a good chat, I think. Especially when it's two-way. It's not just one-sided, which happens quite a lot. But yeah, never mind. Anyway, back to the shot. This is a shot I started off with shooting. The light is very harsh. I don't know if I've just said that. I've lost my train of thought. But the sun is rising this way, and obviously casting light opposite way. And it's getting harsher as it's rising in the air, in the sky. So I thought what I'd do is I found this real gnarly oak tree. It's got some real sort of like nubs and knolls, and I don't really know what they're called. The bark's interesting. It's got lichen. It's got all kinds of moss and sort of deep cracks and crevices. And I wanted to shoot it before that sun hit it because I want that more sort of ambient, soft light. I don't want that harsh, gnarly light hitting it. So yeah, what I thought today we would do is go intimate, go sort of real, more technical composition, practice composition in a more intimate way, because I think it can be a hard thing to practice. I think it's I don't know, dare I say it, easier to compose something with a wider view, maybe, because you're not so close. There's more places to hide, there's more elements to fit in, whereas when you're shooting an intimate scene, there is nowhere to hide. Your eyes are right on the image, and it's the hardest part about it is choosing where to put things. And then you've got issues like depth of field, what focal length how close to go. So jump into the camera and I'll talk you through exactly what I'm shooting now, and then we'll move around the tree. And what I hope to do is to show you 3 images, and you can pick and choose which one you think is my best image. So yeah, while the conditions are like they are, use the conditions to your favour. Go more intimate, use a longer focal range if you still want to shoot wide and you want to shoot like an avenue shot, or pick out a bit of detail on a tree, or use a wider lens, go really close and cover the whole frame with the tree bark or leaves on the ground, or you know, you get what I'm talking about. So yeah, I'll jump into the camera and we'll talk about exactly what I'm doing now, and then I'm going to go around and see if I can find 2 more viewpoints of this old gnarly oak. So this is my first shot. I'm shooting this around f11. ISO 100, and as you can say 0.6 of a second, and at f11 I'm getting enough depth of field that I'm covering the majority of the frame. But this area over the back here, some of this area here, and that back corner, because there's depth to the image, believe it or not, because I'm quite close to this tree, probably 1.5 to 2 at the very most. The tree is obviously rounded, and that's causing that is my depth of field. It's kind of something that people will easily forget when taking more intimate shots like this. They forget their depth of field. But it's something that you really have to focus on, because just focusing down here in the center, we can see my focus point is. These bits here will be soft even at f16, so it is something you need to focus on, hence the reason why I'm going to do a focus stack. So what I have done is I've focused in the middle, which, like I said, has given me majority of focus. But these corners here, I'm using a 16-35 around 28mm, so it's in the sharp range. You're not getting too much distortion, but it's still not sharp in here, and that's not down to the lens. That is down to depth of field. So I'm focusing back here, focus in the middle, and I took another shot around here, I think, focused. So I've got 3 images, and that has given me maximum amount of depth, maximum amount of information, which I can then take back into Lightroom. And here's my 3 shots. So this is the middle, this is the top left, and this is around down here. And you can, as I'm scrolling through these shots, you can just see how you can see how my focus is shifting, because I've got a little bit of breathing there. You can see the image just poking in and out ever so slightly, and that is a thing called focus breathing. A lot of the more modern lenses claim reduced focus breathing or none, but this lens is fairly old. It's extremely sharp, very expensive, but you can still see a bit of focus breathing. So what I'll have to do in Lightroom is align them. Photoshop has a very clever automated system and focus stacking system, which I'm hoping will do this perfectly for me, due to the fact there's no moving parts to the image, so it should stack and align these spot on. And as you can probably tell, here are some slightly longer exposures, letting more light in. And as you can see, it looks worse on this camera. It's not that bright. Up here there's some nice silvery bark, which is catching the light. Now I've got the zebras on this Sony, so I can just see a little bit of clipping according to the zebras. When I look at my histogram, I'm happy that my histogram is okay. If I just show you my histogram, you can see my histogram is bang in the middle. I'm not clipping the shadows or the highlights, but I am still getting a little bit of blinking up here. So I've taken them shots, exactly the same process, focus stacked, and then these ones, as you can see, just to help me control this highlight spot that I'm a little bit worried about. So I've taken these focus stacked images as well, but you can see that I am losing a little bit of detail in these shadows. So I might not use the light and the dark. I probably will just use the light and hold back them highlights. I think the Sony can handle it, but just to be sure, this is the reason why I've taken some darker images, because I want this image, there's lots of depth in this image, and believe it or not, there is drama, there is atmosphere. I think with some clever dodging and burning, I can bring out these areas here, not that I need to, sorry, I can sort of drum them down, darken these shadows, but still see a little bit of detail in them. And there's a little bit of colour with this little sort of gnarly nubby hanging off this oak tree. There's some cracks and crevices. This tree has got incredible character. So yeah, that's my thought process behind these images. I love shooting these intimate scenes. Yeah, it's just an incredible tree to walk around and shoot. And I just can't wait to get round the other side and just see if I can grab another shot. Now I have shot this side because the sun is coming from my left and illuminating all this left hand side of the tree, so I wanted to shoot the left hand side first, and then I'm slowly going to walk my way around to the right, around the outside of the tree, and shoot the more darker shadows as that light comes up. So I found my second shot, and this time I've used a polarizer because I've got a little bit of glare coming from my left hand side. You can probably see it on the screen here. Let's turn that focus peaking off. I'm around 2 seconds now, still shooting at ISO 100 and using f11 as my f-stop for maximum sharpness. But as you can see, I'll just get rid of my histogram. Down in here, as the tree bends round to the right, like I've talked about already, there's quite a large depth of field because I am so close. Again, I'm around 2 foot, 1.5 foot. So I need that focus stacking ability. I need that in post-processing to be able to get sharpness from here right round to here. And as you'll notice, when you are doing something like this, it's a good exercise for depth of field. It teaches you how depth of field works. I'll focus around here, and obviously because of this area here, as it bends around, is sort of the same distance. You'll notice, obviously, you notice your sharpness kicking in around these areas as well. It's not exactly as if you have to focus here, 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 here. Like, take 6 images. I literally take one in the middle, one on my furthest, and one somewhere in the middle around here, which will cover around sort of almost like that third of the way into a normal shot. Then the far distance, which will be here, and then obviously close in the middle. So you have to treat it like a normal shot, but because it's so close, because your camera is so close, that focus really does matter even more, because like I said earlier, there's nowhere to hide. So yeah, another good shot. I like the colour here, the colour contrast between the greens and the browns. You've got these lines, these shapes, vertical lines, and then you've got these sort of gnarly circles and diagonals. You've got like a diagonals across here, plus the depth. With shooting this way, focus stacking, you do lose a little bit of the ability to create depth. Because obviously by creating front to back sharpness, you are somewhat flattening the scene. But with dodging and burning and the natural color contrast, sorry, you've got that anyway. So with dodging and burning, I'll be able to create that depth back into the image, like down here. I'm better lighten it up or darken it depending on what I feel like at the time of my edit. But I still want that sharpness to come through. I'll just create that depth back with lights and darks. So as you can see from my camera, this was a shot I've just talked about, and my first shot was literally 2 foot to the left, and this is what this video is about. It's about looking close, concentrating on what you're doing, making sure your settings are dialed in, and practicing your depth of field, getting to know your lens, which will help your lens and knowing your lens and your camera, knowing what the parameters are, knowing what they can do, knowing how far you can push things, will help you with this type of photography. And also the experience of the area, knowing what you can get out of the area. Like today, it's very harsh now. I know if I go off into the wilderness and try and pick out trees, it'll be very hard because the highlights are so harsh. Not so much the shadows anymore because everything's dead, so it's got that sort of sparse, uninspiring feel at the moment, dare I say it. So I knew that when I got out of the car this morning. I knew that I wanted to shoot intimate. I knew that by coming to the woods I have with the gnarly oaks, I knew I'd find some intimate, characterful scenes to shoot. So yeah, by having them tools in your back pocket will make this more intimate photography a more enjoyable process. But you would only gain that knowledge and that experience by doing it. So yeah, only moved 2 foot to the right. Now I'm going to go around the tree a little bit more. I noticed some more sort of gnarly shapes around this side of the tree, which is more susceptible to that sun coming up. So this third image could be slightly different. the sun is poking up just a little bit. But yeah, it's you need to broaden. I feel like by broadening in your photography knowledge by doing stuff like this, it will help. It'll help make you a more rounded photographer. Ooh, it's freezing. Right, let's move on to shot number 3. Now this could be my favourite image of them all. You've got this nice gnarly nubby here. You've got a little one down here which looks looks a little bit gross, if I'm honest, but yeah, it's a nice image. Got a little bit of ambient light hitting here now. It's starting to get a bit harsh, but I think it does add to the image. You've got a nice wet line up here of moss that's just staying wet, so you've got like a yin and yang. You've got some depth with the natural arc, the natural curve of the tree, and it's just, I think it's my preferred image. You've got greens and you've got the silvery, the bark. Yeah, it's just a stunning shot, in my opinion, and I do think this is the 1 out of 3 that I will prefer. Probably will definitely enjoy editing. I have focused at this again, same thing again, f11, ISO 100. We're back up to a slightly faster shutter speed now, 0.6 of a second, because of that ambient light coming in from over here on the right. But yeah, the principles are the same as the other 2 shots, but I think this one could be the best out of the crop. Yeah, it's just, this is the nicest section of tree, but like I said in my earlier vlog, it is going to get harsh along here and cast some gnarly shadows, which can look quite nice, but I don't particularly like this real harsh line going up the image. I've already taken the shot, but in slightly duller light, and I think now given the way that the scene looks now, I think that's probably the right move, just because of that harsh line. I think that line could be distracting, but obviously that's just a personal preference. So I hope you enjoyed the vlog. I hope you will like the 3 shots. We'll put them next to each other. This one, in case you didn't notice, was a vertical shot. The other 2 were landscape. That's just a purely compositional decision. I couldn't get everything that I wanted in this with this view. The tree is sort of more hourglass from this view, so I was getting the left and the right background in. So vertical composition was the best way to go. And if I could give another little tip, it is, especially when you're any type of photography, about landscape photography, I always walk around with the camera in hand, and you offer it up to your eye and dial in a rough idea of where you want to be, especially with more intimate scenes like this. Tiny little increments of movement make a huge difference to your composition. And in terms of compositional rules, the rule of thirds, I watched a podcast with Alistair Ben. He's doing a brilliant series. If you haven't checked it out, go and check out his YouTube channel, and you can there's some of them on there that you can watch, or on a podcast on iTunes, Spotify. And he talks about there not being a box. Everyone talks about thinking outside of the box, but the more I think about it, he is right. There isn't a box. Yes, there are compositional rules, which in certain instances make sense. And yes, I have placed things on the third in these 3 shots, but not through a thought process of using the rules. It's my creative thought process that's got me to that visual aesthetic that I was going for. I wasn't thinking, I must put that here, I must put that there. I was thinking, what looks good and how do I feel about that being there? Sometimes the 2 things coincide. It does happen to be on a third, but it's not necessarily the way to go, and I don't tend to promote rules or regulations or on my workshops. I tend to, with my photography generally, I tend to just go by feel and how I'm feeling at the time, how I want the image to look, how I think I want the edit to look, which is very important as well. How the edit, how I feel like I want the end product to be, is how I will photograph it. And that goes as broad as not only compositionally but how I shoot it, like the focus stacking, like I've talked about, or the exposure blending, or multiple exposures like bracketing. I'm thinking about that in the field for later on down the line. So yeah, in terms of thinking outside the box, Alice is right, there isn't a box in my opinion. There are rules and guidelines. I don't like the word rule. Guidelines, even, you know, it's all about field touch and how an image makes you feel. And if you want to shoot it a certain way, then you shoot it a certain way. These are how I've shot it, and I would love to know what you thought down below in the comments below. So yeah. Anyway, I'm rambling on. I hope you had a lovely Christmas and a really nice Boxing Day, and I hope you stocked up on plenty of food, cheese, biscuits, turkey, and I will see you in the new year. That's a happy new year as well. I know I wasn't going to say that, but I have. Happy new year. I will see you in 2021 next week. Ciao for now. See you later.